You are now tuned into Flippin' the Birds, a Philly Sports Network podcast.
What's going on, Eagles fans? Welcome one, welcome all to episode 60 of Flippin' the Birds. I'm Brian Cameron. He's Chris Infante. And today we're joined by two very special guests who we've actually been itching to get on. We're joined with the real Mama Eagle herself, Key, and Andrew DiCecco of Inside the Birds. What's going on, guys?
Not much. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
No, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk Eagles with you guys.
Well, we're looking forward to it. I mean, I posed Chris with the idea, and he was all for it.
I'm usually not that quick to agree with Brian's ideas.
Anything. It could be literally anything.
Well, it was a good idea.
There we
It
go.
is. A broken clock is right twice a day, right?
Whoa. Were you drinking tonight? Is that what it is?
I just started.
Oh, damn it. I ran out today. Let's talk about running out. Eagles don't have a running back heading into Thursday before anything.
That was such a bad
okay.
transition.
Listen, it was okay.
That was such a bad transition.
But let's focus on the matter. Miles Sanders out for 1 to 2 weeks. Our backups are Boston Scott, who is not the Boston Scott we saw last year. Corey Clement, who hasn't been the same since 2017. Just to add to the list of injuries at this point, how do we feel going forward into a matchup where we have the Giants, Cowboys, Browns, and then Giants again?
Well, it's going to definitely be tricky. I mean, you have Boston Scott, who the Eagles really have not gotten what he showed last December, when he pretty much was one of the catalysts behind that late season surge. And then you have Corey Clement, who really hasn't done much of anything since the Super Bowl on offense. He looks like a shell of his former self. He's not really hitting the hole hard with conviction. He's not really following his blockers. It seems like he's running in sand sometimes, to be honest with you, when I see him run. But and then, of course, there's Jason Huntley, who I joked about earlier, but I did get some information on him. I was speaking to his college coach a little bit ago. As far as he weighs about 190 pounds, he's very fast and explosive, but they said that pound for pound, he was actually one of their strongest players on the football team. He's not afraid of contact. He does need to improve his pass blocking, so I'm not sure how often he's going to see the field, but with the two guys in front of him that haven't really impressed, who knows?
It's actually interesting.
Okay, I'll give it to you. I'm gonna wait for everybody to be done. I
It's
talk too much anyway.
it's rough just because as Andrew said, you talk about Corey being a shadow of his former self, and then we don't see anything from Boston Scott, and it's not helping that the Eagles have had one of the worst run blocking lines in the league with their injuries. So to add insult to injury, you're not getting the blocks, you're not getting the pushes. There's no holes. These guys are running into defenders in the backfield, and it's just pretty brutal. My best bet would be that we would see some creativity with Jalen Hurts on Thursday night in the running game.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of two quarterback sets, which is gonna send Liam to the moon because that's all he wants. But it's just like, I don't know how many times throughout the offseason and early season we're all like, we need a damn backup running back. Like, I love Boston Scott, I love Corey Clement, but it's like we can't hold on to such a small sample size that we saw in last year. We saw 4 games of Boston Scott. He was incredible. Yep. But it's still 4 games. And so are we really going to hand off the backup spot to a 5'6", 200-pound running back who's best used sparingly, like he did last year to the end of the year, if Miles Sanders goes down? Well, we're in that situation right now. We kind of saw it in the first game where it didn't really go that great. And now we are back to square one. It's now we see. Now we're going to try and see Boston Scott try and pass block against Leonard Williams, and and then the following week against DeMarcus Lawrence, and it's going to be ugly. And we've seen Corey Clement try to pass block this year, and it hasn't been pretty. So no. Not that Zach Ertz was the best pass blocker in the world, but now we're down 2 straight tight ends to help out with those big sets. Now you're now doing Richard Rodgers and Jason Kroom, who's the most efficient tight end in history. One snap, one reception, and one touchdown. But it's like, I'm convinced Carson didn't even know he was out there. He just saw someone with a green jersey and threw it to him. And
real quick, I wanted to I agree wholeheartedly with what Kiana said about Jalen Hurts. I wrote an article after the game yesterday about you got to see when he was on the field, the Baltimore defense, which is so aggressive and they have this attack style mindset, they had to think for a second. They had to account for Jalen Hurts, whether or not he was actually, a decoy or being a factor on the play. They were a little bit tentative and hesitant, and that's what he can bring to an offense. You kind of slow things down, and people have to be accounted for his whereabouts at all times. And when you look at the Eagles' offense, it's just very stale. There's not a lot of creativity, and there's not a lot of explosive playmakers there. So you have to find ways to manufacture yards and big plays, and I think Jalen Hurts can bring some of that to the table. Now, I'm not suggesting that he plays 10 to 20 snaps, but, a 5 to 6 snap a game, I think that he should have a role.
I think that'll be ideal heading into this matchup and heading into the next key games. I mean, with Carson getting hit so much, 25 sacks leading the league, you have to find a way to keep this guy healthy. And he can't do the things that Jalen Hurts really can
He's veering towards David Carr territory at this point. And it's a shame. All the talent in the world. If he didn't shut up the critics last week or the week before, he hopefully, unfortunately, he's never going to, because there's always going to be that one, those people that just hate him so much for whatever reason, that dude was just chucking it up there. And I compared it to Eli Manning just completely throwing it and hoping to God it landed somewhere, and it landed on David Tyree's helmet. And that was Carson Wentz yesterday with Fulgham, and he was just making it play after play.
It was a gutsy performance by Carson, big time, despite the outcome.
Mm-hmm. He laid it all on the field, and you never really see this team play with that much heart this season, even though they put up 28-plus points on 2 elite defenses back-to-back.
It's funny? It's really good. What's really funny about Carson is he seems to play a lot looser and more free when he's got a lot of these backup players out there. And I feel like, those guys, there's no ego with those guys, and they're all trying to, make a name for themselves, and they just want to make plays and find a way to stay in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't feel like he has to force feed these guys targets like, say, Deshaun or an Alshon Jeffrey. They can kind of just play this backyard football style of play, and you kind of just seems to be having a lot more fun, and the young players' energy sort of radiates throughout the entire offense.
So you mentioning that now that Zach Ertz is actually going to be out, because I felt like in the beginning of the game he was kind of like forcing the ball to Ertz in a certain amount of times. So now with no Ertz heading into a game against the Giants, do you feel like we're going to see a very, very loose offense now with Carson? He's going to be running for his life throughout the whole night, but at this point,
you're not going to have to worry about a Richard Rodgers going into the huddle demanding targets, or a Jason Kroom or a Hakeem Butler. These guys, they all just want to be a part of the offense, and they look up to Carson Wentz. They want to be a player that's going to help and elevate the offense. There's no egos there. And I think that there was a time where Carson, I think he always feels like he needs to allot some of his passes to Zach Ertz. And I think to a degree, Alshon and Deshaun, when they've been available, I feel like these guys, he feels like he needs to force feed these guys their targets, whereas, he's able to spread it out to some of these younger guys. And you see him play, a little bit more relaxed.
I definitely agree with that. How do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, you're taking away the element of Carson forcing it to Ertz, which is a big deal. And then you have a guy like Richard Rodgers out there just playing for potentially another job elsewhere next season. So he has something to play for. You have Travis Fulgham out there, someone who wants to stay in the starting lineup, making every play, making every catch. And even someone like Hightower, who still needs to work on his hands, he's playing for something too. And this kid is getting separation, so he's definitely going to want it. I think you're going to see a loose offense on Thursday. I think you're going to see a lot of trick plays and a lot of creativity. I think Doug's going to get in his bag, and we're going to see a lot of interesting things, even with the injuries.
I think, it's crazy. Like you said with Hightower, he's the top in the league for targeted air yards.
He's burning guys. He's getting these DBs big time.
He is. I think he's averaging, and I have it right here. He's at on that separation. That's the wrong one. 21.3 air yards. He's the only player in the league to being targeted over 20 yards.
Who's the next closest?
He's an impressive player. I mean,
Stanley.
I actually saw Hightower in person at the Shrine Bowl for the entire week. And the first day of practice, he was one of the guys I was most looking forward to seeing. First day of practice, he drops 3 passes. And, you sort of saw like the scouts kind of just like, oh, man. Like that's kind of what his MO was. And he struggled to track the football. And that's why he was available in the 5th round. Now, most rookies struggle from a route running standpoint. The little subtleties and the nuances that come with route running, learning the NFL route trees. He has that. That's the hardest part. He's able to create that separation. Now, the other half of that is following through and looking the ball in and catching the football and knowing where to be. But that's a teachable part of his game, and that falls on Aaron Moorhead to kind of get the best out of him.
All right, we expect that from a rookie. Like, we get a 5th-round pick and all that. Like, and people were comparing him. And I even said it. Like I said, Deshaun Speed, Aguilar hands on that play. But, like, Aguilar had that 3 years into the league, 4 years into the league.
Mm-hmm.
Hightower doing it now. It is what it is. Rookie mistakes. That's what happened last week too against the Steelers. Like it is what it is. It's teachable. Aaron Moorhead has been doing a great job with this receiving core. Justin Peele has been doing a good job with J-Jaw, teaching him how to be a new tight end, I guess, but with his blocking. But going back, with Hightower, 20 yards down the field. Wentz is targeting him. Last year, the highest in the whole league was 17.4. Mike Williams. 2018, the highest in 2018 was 20.6. That was Robert Foster in Buffalo, and then Deshaun was 19.1 in Tampa. Wow, so it's really
went past people.
And so these Hightower is showing that he is the deep threat that we've wanted Deshaun Jackson to be, and Deshaun Jackson is that deep threat. Just he needs to play a game, but Hightower, it's gonna come. I'm confident it's gonna come. If it doesn't come this year, like, he's gonna show us flashes, and then he'll be part of that building block going into next year. But
he's got great potential.
Definitely 100%, and it's. I thought about this today, and I didn't really put it out there because I'm like, does it sound stupid, or it probably does, but Wentz comes from FCS. He comes from the schools that no one really knew of until he showed that he played with talent that really no one gave a crap about, so kind of doing that now with the backup guys, and he's showing that he's playing with guys who no one gave him a chance, and Greg Ward and Travis Fulgham, now, and Jason Kroom maybe, but like, he's playing with guys that no one gave a chance, and maybe that's the kind of player he needs around him. Like, prior to that, he has guys like Zach Ertz, who's in a contract situation. He has Deshaun Jackson, who got his money, and is a lot more talk than production at this point. Miles Sanders. He's great. But it's like, he's getting hungry guys. And I feel like that's the kind of players that he played with in college. Hungry guys who just want to play because they played football, not really to do anything afterwards. They wanted to play football, and they won championships with those guys. So Wentz is
an excellent point.
Really bringing it with these guys who just want to play football, and we might see some good come out of this.
I'm not gonna lie, you're really getting me a little excited about Thursday night. But the fact that
that's what I do, man.
We'll start. Thursday night though, Deshaun Jackson might be coming back, and like you guys are pointing to, with Hightower showing his potential, and even Fulgham showing his potential. My biggest fear was with these veteran guys coming in, like, it's the Eagles. It's a weird system that they have where they prefer these more experienced guys who don't do anything for them over the guys who are showing out. So with Deshaun Jackson coming back Thursday night, do they limit Jackson and kind of stick with Hightower, or are you limiting Hightower to bring back the juice in Deshaun Jackson per se?
Hightower snaps get limited in my opinion, but Fulgham's do not.
Yes.
If Fulgham gets limited, we all riot.
Yeah. Yes. Especially. But I think he's done too good. There's no way they're gonna take snaps away from him. He's being productive. Other than that one drop, he's made plays for Carson.
He almost made that Hail Mary play.
Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah.
He had it, and then they missed a face mask on him. I'm pretty. I saw Peters grab his face mask, and then he dropped the ball right after. So he had it in his hands, and then like that's a play that that Calvin Johnson makes. I'm not comparing him to Calvin
Yeah,
Johnson,
of course.
but like those are like the plays that the receivers like that make, and he's just like, he's not the fastest guy. He
just gets it done.
He gets it done. He sees ball, he gets ball. That's
he's a technician. And the NFL is a results-based business. Doug Peterson's a smart guy. He's not going to take his most productive receiver off the field if he wants to win football games. And Travis Fulgham's done everything that they've asked of him, and he can work all three levels of the field. He's got that rapport with Carson Wentz. I do agree with Kiana. I do think that John Hightower will see a decrease in snaps for Deshaun. But other than that, I think Fulgham's going to get the bulk of the targets and the snaps.
And the funny thing about Fulgham is that the Eagles were big on cross-training last season with J-Jaw. Didn't work out. J-Jaw still, even though he robbed Miles Sanders for a touchdown.
Maybe they're cross-training him at tight end and blocking, and and learning how to recover fumbles.
In my opinion, that was a poor block on that run because he led that defender right to Miles and slowed down Miles.
He knew what was going to happen. He did that on purpose. He wanted a touchdown.
But Fulgham is unique because he does everything that they spoke about last season, about the whole cross training. Like, you could play him in the slide, you could play him on outside, you could
anywhere,
and he does it. He gets it done. He's productive.
Open deep.
Looking at his charts, like looking at the charts, he's lined up everywhere.
Down deep, and then against Pittsburgh, that gorgeous pass over the middle where only Fulgham could reach it. Like this guy could any part of the field that this guy can make plays on any part of the field.
That's a phenomenal thing to see, especially when we haven't had a big wide receiver since prime Jeremy Maclin before he left.
Yeah,
Alshon.
Yep.
Alshon.
Well, a possession guy. A possession guy. Yeah, is what you mean. Yeah.
If you're talking about like big receivers who can go up and get it, Alshon.
Fulgham would. Fulgham's in the possession receiver category. So you're right.
Don't disrespect Fulgham like that, bro.
Prime Alshon is a good comparison.
Nice.
Josina Alshon, not so much. That's a different story.
Oh man.
So as we talked about, so far the offense, we gotta talk about one thing that we're gonna hate to talk about, and it's the defense. It's the unfortunate linebacker corpse. I can't say it with a serious face. Nate Gary has been he's been an eyesore. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw, like, on Sunday he ran completely past the runner, and I guess he gave him a high five on the way out of that bounce.
He tagged him. He said,
tag he was out there playing freeze tag with people.
Yeah, like, I don't get it. Like, I mean, everybody in the league knows that Nate Gary is not a coverage linebacker. They every single week that we've had a member of the opposing team's media on, every single person has said, we asked them a key to the game, what do you think your team is gonna have to do? They said, target Nate Gary. Like, that's every single person. Like, teams know that's the weakest link. That's the guy right there. And Jim needs to, Jim, Howie, Doug, everybody needs to see that this guy in the defense, they target him. But sure, let's play him 93% of the snaps. Sure, yeah, fine. That's cool. Yeah.
I never thought I would long to see someone like Mark Semino ever again. Yeah, that's how bad it is. Or Dhani, it's just somebody, and anybody, Jones, any linebacker, period. But I mean, at this point, it's not even Gary's fault. They have to make the decision and get him out of there. They're letting this happen to him. Mm-hmm. He is who he is. He's not a coverage linebacker.
Exactly, and they keep trotting him out there. This is a conversation that Seth Joyner and I had prior to the draft. The Eagles have the worst set of linebackers in the NFL. And we knew going into the draft that they weren't going to do anything about it. I mean, they did take Davion Taylor in the third round. Most people, including myself, had Davion Taylor graded as a fifth-round pick, but that's besides the point. I mean, he played 11 snaps yesterday. Sure, cool, whatever. But I mean, we'll see if his role
which was more than Avery. Again, like, people were playing over Avery, and
that makes no sense to me. I mean, we'll see what Davion, if his role grows, because if you're not playing now and you've got four healthy linebackers, then you're probably not going to be a factor this season. And their best linebacker is Alex Singleton. Alex Singleton, yep. he nearly got cut at the end of training camp. I mean, he was buried on the depth chart. So,
and then you have to go. Then you have to watch a game and then watch our guy Ford on Baltimore
Oh my God!
Right.
And it's just torture.
When I was looking for pictures today of number 47 doing bad things, I came across LJ Ford tackling Wentz to the ground, and I just like it's not supposed to be like this.
I get it that how he got a comp pick out of it, but you really threw your defense on
that was such a mess.
And they had him on a nice deal. It was like a pretty cheap deal for a linebacker.
Yeah, that was such a mess. Like I was when I was writing that article, like I was talking back and forth with a lot of people, and I was about the LJ Ford situation, and it was like everybody knew, except for all the players, that LJ Ford was gone. Like people knew that just how he wanted that comp pick back. Leaves. Okay, you got that 4th round pick. A few weeks later, 49ers cut Jordan Matthews. Oh shit, we don't have that 4th round pick anymore. Let's cut Andrew Sendejo earlier than expected and get that 4th round pick. But not saying Andrew Sendejo didn't deserve to be cut because he was very bad. He, famously tackled Avonte Maddox to the ground, almost broke his neck. But it's like Howie has such a fascination with these comp picks in a year from now.
I'm picking bargain bin shopping to get players. It doesn't work.
It's ridiculous. And like this, like the person I talked to was like, he's so obsessed with getting a developmental player every draft. A few years ago was Mailata, which finally came to fruition this year. It just only took a few years of incubating on IR. And then last year was Sharif Miller, who's back. He's back.
It's your best friend.
All of his developmental players
practice squad.
or they've gotten cut, like Sharif Miller, like Shelton Gibson.
Right.
You can go on and on and on, but like a lot of these comp picks, they never amount to anything.
No, and now this guy would be Taylor, who can't get on the field. So it's
right.
And now we're being forced. I know Hurts is probably going to be more in the game plan now, but we the last few weeks we've kind of been like force fed Hurts, and then let's in these not 2 QB set situations they're throwing out a 2 QB set situation, and it's just like I know that like the Hurts play yesterday was like the first positive yards that they saw, but there was a whole lot of passing and behind the line of the scrimmage for 3 yards, and it's like it was what is this what we're going to be seeing, like gadget plays. I like Hurts. I think he's going to be a very good quarterback. I'm just like there are so many people there that just can play right now. And
is involving Hurts a little bit too much gonna kind of like throw out at some point throw Wentz off his rhythm in the middle of a game?
I worry because we like I said, we see how the offense starts games very slow, but then we see like give or take, if you fast forward, usually late in the 3rd quarter, the Eagles offense usually always gets together and then they play well in the 4th quarter. My concern is that's when Carson's usually feeling himself and he's making his best plays. And you switch Hurts out, you mess up Wentz's timing, then all of a sudden Wentz throws a pick or he overthrows or this or that. That's my concern with it, that they're just doing too much.
Yeah, that's a legitimate concern. Sometimes it disrupts the whole rhythm.
Now I don't mind using him in a running scenario, like sort of how they did on Sunday a little bit, but that's it.
Yeah, pretty much. You want to limit it.
Yeah.
And I guess my next question is kind of Chris, maybe it's kind of revolves around everything that you were told about the Howie Roseman situation, where he has a big say on who's active on game days. So with Hurts, a 2nd round pick, the Eagles need to make something out of him. At some point,
he's pretty much got to defend his draft picks.
So he has to force Hurts into the game.
So that's why we see J-Jaw so much over. We saw him over Fulgham. We saw him over Ward. We see him over Watkins now. We see him over Watkins. We see and I know Watkins was a pick, but Watkins was a 6th round pick. So J-Jaw needs to be out there because he's a 2nd round pick. And it's like I was told by multiple people that just Howie he doesn't know when to cut bait, and they used Bill Belichick as an example. And I know he's like the outlier because Belichick can do no wrong except for cheating. But it's but if you're a 1st round, no matter who it is, if you're a 1st round pick and you're not performing, Bill's like, all right, get out of here. It's it. I mean, not that the Pats usually have 1st round picks, because they just trade out of the 1st round pretty much every year. But he doesn't care who you are. Like they traded a 2nd round pick from Mohamed Sanu, and after a year, they're like, nope, you're not doing anything for me. Get out of here. It's like Howie, you made a bad pick, or Joe made a bad pick. Like whoever it was made a bad pick, cut bait. Like, send them. If you love draft picks so much, send him for a conditional 6th, whatever, or 5th. He's not doing anything other than being another blocker, and we love him for it right now because he's set up 2 long plays for Miles Sanders the last 2 weeks. But that's not what you draft a 2nd-round wide receiver for. It's just a bad pick.
A legitimate concern that I have with the Eagles is their willingness to cut bait with young players before really giving them a chance to blossom. I mean, you could look down to 2017, Marcus Johnson, a wide receiver who is now with the Colts, and he's now their primary deep threat.
Yep.
The Eagles were searching for.
I think I just saw he was released.
No, he balled out yesterday.
He
had a great game. He had a great game, yeah.
And he barely got on the field here. They traded him for he was included in the Michael Bennett trade, of course, but they've searched for this deep threat for years. They tried to make Shelton Gibson and Matt Collins those guys, but they had a guy, Marcus Johnson, who was a low-cost guy. He did everything the right way. He has a Super Bowl ring. He was on that team, but they sent him away. And you look at Casey Toohill this time. He made the team over Sharif Miller and Joe Osman, who they loved, and they thought that they were going to get him through waivers, and he outsmarted himself, and he's gone. Shannon Sullivan's another player.
That one I was upset about.
Yeah,
he's now become one of the best nickel corners in football. He had a tough game. Of course, everybody remembers that New Orleans Saints game where they got blown out. He had to play due to injury. He had a really tough game as expected, and they lost patience and they cut him. And a lot of the fan base thought that he was terrible and he couldn't play, but they need to develop these guys and give them a chance.
Because we see where Sidney Jones is doing now. I know he had a bad game
when
yesterday.
Shannon was with us, he was a safety though, right?
Yeah,
he was a corner. He was a corner.
He was a corner.
He was a corner. Yeah.
Yeah,
they had him at
I'm
corner?
thinking of.
And how do you judge him off the Saints game when everyone was bad that night?
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Like I don't understand. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, you might be thinking of Trey Sullivan. I think too, when he said safety.
Yeah. Whenever there's a bad game, there also has to be one scapegoat, and that was Shannon.
I was kind of waiting for somebody to be the scapegoat.
Yeah, Carson's always the scapegoat. It's especially it's a Max Kellerman. Like it's.
Oh, stop! Don't bring that guy.
That guy.
I don't want to give him a time, but come on, man. Like it's like Max literally just wanted Carson to run down the field and place it in Hightower's hands and then say go. Like he couldn't. Like that's the only way the ball could have even been more perfect in his hands.
Well,
Same
Carson
thing
had a bully run yesterday for 40 yards.
Yeah, like no, that doesn't count because it's because of the fumble. Like that was the one thing that he was saying, the fumble. But the whole rest of the game, the 40-yard run, the 2 drops, the YOLO passes that somehow were completed, that didn't count. That doesn't matter. But it's these guys that just talk and they get paid for it. So it is what it is.
And they know that people are going to tune in.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's all it is.
I never saw so much unwarranted hate for a quarterback who's never done anything to anyone. Or a player. I just do not understand.
It's so confusing.
Yeah.
He's literally the nicest guy in the world.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like
not to mention one of the toughest players in the NFL.
He's so tough. If yesterday did not show you, then I don't know what will. All the injury prone jokes, the last 2 years, this guy's taken a beating and he's still been good. Even the Seattle game, the Clowney hit, that would concuss most players, right?
Apparently not Dak Prescott because he has a head of he has an invincible head, according to Cowboys fans.
Well, at the end of 2019 and early this season don't show you that he has toughness, then at this point I can't help you.
90% of the quarterbacks, if they were taking that beating that he took yesterday, they don't finish that game.
Honestly, someone like Ben Roethlisberger wouldn't even finish that game.
Right. There's so many quarterbacks you could list. Any starters wouldn't finish that game. And he doesn't get the credit for that.
And he would have played the next week. Like everything was reported that he would have passed concussion protocol that week if they won, but they didn't win, so that doesn't matter to everybody. So it's just like he's, for all the Wentz's injury prone jokes, pretty much every single other Eagles player is hurt right now except for the injury prone player. So it's true. Like, he's getting hit on his head, his ribs, his back, his knee. He's still walking around like, okay, who else is going to
get up and look for the play to finish.
Calais Campbell was destroying the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
And he still lives to tell about it. Like, I'm not sure what else to say about this.
Calais Campbell had like a career day. He had a hat trick.
He
Campbell.
shoved Brown to the ground like Brown was a rag doll. It was so bad.
Did you guys see Mailata shove him to the
It
ground
was
though?
embarrassing.
Yeah,
Mailata just
Mailata.
threw Campbell to the ground like nothing.
I have to. I think that was
Marcus Peters.
I do have to say that when it comes to Mailata, I have to eat so much crow because I said terrible things about him, and I feel so bad. I was totally wrong about him.
I was so rough on the guy.
Kid showed up against Baltimore and Pittsburgh. Like, what more do you want? Like that's it. You know.
I mean, to be fair to us, the last few years he's been again incubating on IR. Like the dude.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like how many off seasons did we have to have a project from Australia who's never played football before? I'm like, look, it's like 3 years now. If he can't get it, he's not going to get it.
I was right there with you guys. You know, I kept saying, how could you keep dedicating a roster spot to this project? At what point do you have to cut ties?
Yep.
And now
he went from Bruce Banner to the Incredible Hulk in no time.
And now Wentz would probably be dead without Mailata right now.
Shout out to Stoutland.
Yeah, Jeff Stoutland.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing. A lot of people are saying, like, you know, give credit to Howie, but Jeff Stoutland is probably the most efficient coach on the staff because the guy develops players.
He's been around for a long time. He's been through a few different head coaches.
Yeah, this is the second or third time he's had to overcome a Brandon Brooks injury, Lane Johnson missing games, and the Peters. So I mean, he's had to overcome all of that.
Every offensive lineman except for Jason Kelsey.
Yeah, essentially.
Look what he's done with Nate Herbig. Look what he did with Nate Herbig. What he did with Mailata, Jack Driscoll. I mean, that's a coach that has not gotten the credit that he warrants.
Mm-hmm.
Nate Herbig, who ran the slowest 40 out of anybody at that combine. His 40-yard dash was last.
I didn't know he was last.
All of them.
Wow.
But and now we're missing him right now. It's bad. No, he's playing. Never mind.
No, he's playing with Driscoll.
Yeah, I'm thinking he's hurt too. Like I'm conditioned to think everybody's hurt.
But Brett Toth stepped in at right tackle. He didn't look terrible. I mean, to fill in.
What's not terrible to you? Like not 9 pressures, not giving up 4 QB hits, like not
Jamon Brown level.
Not Jamon Brown, like
no, not Jamon Brown. Yes. The guy was fixing his glove.
Like if we're comparing everybody to Jamon Brown, everybody who plays offensive line is the next Hall of Fame tackle and guard.
I'm convinced Jamon Brown didn't know that this was an actual season game.
Like the dude fixed his gloves mid-play.
I'm convinced that I could get a sack on him, and I have a bad knee. So,
you know, it's time to get
most likely. You
got to give Sua Opeta a chance on Thursday.
Well, I mean, what do they have to lose? It's not like the Giants are the scariest team. If you're going to pull out any tricks or any experiments with roster, this is a great game to do it in.
Yeah, like Friday, like Thursday is that preseason, like Andrew said at the beginning, it's like that 4th preseason game where you can kind of like play around with things and see what.
Yeah, why not?
So
throw Craig James out there, see what happens.
Why not? I mean, the Giants are the one team that no matter how many mistakes we make, they're going to keep us in the game. That's one thing we know for Daniel Jones is absolutely going to keep the Eagles in the game.
100%.
And there's no Saquon.
Yeah. And possibly no Slayton. So,
like Daniel Jones, I believe his targeted area, like Wentz is one of 3 quarterbacks in the league, I believe, who's averaging more than 10 yards per throw. Like not completed, just like he's averaging, I think, 10 yards an attempt. And Daniel Jones is like 6. He's Mr. Checkdown this year. It's just like, and it's like Wentz, he's Chad Pennington this year, just with more fumbles. And it's Daniel Jones is averaging 6.9 intended air yards, and his completed air yards are 5.8.
Wow, that's terrible.
Wentz. Last week Wentz was only one of 3 QBs over 10. For the season, Wentz is at 9.1, but his average completed is 5.8. So it's like he's not really getting it. If it's not Fulgham, it's someone underneath. It's at this point right now. It sucks, but Carson Wentz is doing what he can. He's incredible. He's really been incredible this year. Despite this really slow start and all that, he's been really, really good.
I think it's like the one when Eagles get to this moment, in the beginning of the season, like you hear everybody complain about the fact that Carson plays hero ball too much. But when it gets to this moment, it's like that completely disappears and everybody starts admiring this kid for what he can really do with nothing. And just to speak on that, like, I want to get your opinion on, the state of the Eagles moving forward, because we do have the Giants, and even though we shouldn't take this lightly, depending, because of how this team has been, it's not a terrible schedule going forward. I mean, you have the Giants, Cowboys, you have the Giants again, Browns. Then you had the 3-game matchup against the Seahawks, Packers, and Saints to just face the Cardinals, Cowboys, and the football team.
The Saints, I don't really care about anymore.
That 3-game stretch with Green Bay, New Orleans, and Seattle, that's going to be scary. But everything outside of that, to me, is pretty much winnable in their situation. The Cardinals game is going to be tough, but Dallas doesn't have Dak Prescott. The Giants are a mess. Wash team, also a mess. And the reality is, even though Cleveland has a winning record, you never know what Baker Mayfield's going to show up that day.
And he has those ribs.
Yeah, so it's definitely doable.
Case Keenum may have another game against the Eagles where he's been like waiting for that game. Like when he was with Minnesota, he's like,
always over.
Or no, what was the other game? No, the Broncos game where he was like, oh, that game really sat with me, and he played them again, and then he was with Washington. He was with Washington. He was like, yeah, and then he still lost. So it's we'll see, but it's like if you sweep the rest of the NFC East, you're at worst 6-9-1.
At worst.
At the rest of the season. So, like, you sweep the rest of the NFC East, you lose to everybody else. You're 6-9-1 with a 5-1 division record, and you win your division.
And honestly, the New Orleans Saints, even though they've won 2 straight, they don't look good. They don't look dominant. They're coming to Philly in the cold, so that's something to think about.
Drew Brees doesn't. I mean, you see his arm strength. He can barely push the ball
going
10 to 15. Yeah, it's gone.
Drew Brees is averaging 5.3 completed air yards. 5.3.
So, see, if you think about Arizona, Seattle, Green Bay, and New Orleans, if they even split that,
that's really good.
They're in great shape. Even if they just get 2 there, they're in great shape. So, definitely something to think about.
Glass half full. Glass half full.
Yeah.
But then we have to look at, trade deadline's coming. And that Jason Lankafora report, if you want to believe it or not, because he's not the best with reporting accurate information, saying how he's going to be aggressive. He's already called all these different teams, probably called all 31 teams, and said, hey, I want a player. And so that's pretty much – and apparently the focus is linebacker. I don't believe it either, because I am 100% convinced that he was bullied by a linebacker in high school, and he has that. he still has that grudge, because just look at number 47. How do you put him on the field? Like, how? It's just like, I don't think there's a defensive player at all in the whole league that has given up a higher passer rating than number 47.
But the thing about
I find it hard to
rumors is they're rumored for linebacker, but last year we were rumored for wide receiver or cornerback, and we ended up with Jannard Avery that nobody knew about, and still the guy produces, and somehow, some way, Gary plays more than him.
He has one game. So last year he had that one game, his debut game. He had a half sack and 5 snaps, right, or something like that. Yeah. And it's and then he just was special teams the rest of the year. They couldn't figure out how to use him properly. Mm-hmm. I was told that the defensive coaches really didn't want him, because they were set at edge and they were set at defensive line. Like, if they weren't going to bring him for a linebacker, which he was linebacker in the Browns, and then he was brought over to be an edge. They're like, well, they can't really use him, short arms and all that stuff. Like, he can't really win one-on-one matchups. But they did it anyway. 4th round pick.
How are you making moves and not being not considering what the coaches want is a serious problem.
Isn't that such a wild thing though to think about?
Along those lines,
coaches.
Along those lines, I was told that Howie kind of considers, but not really, and he has a player in his sights, gets the deal done, and he's like, "Hey, what do you think of this player?" Well, look up film on him because he's coming. It's like that, and it's not that's not good.
It's a major disconnect.
Mm-hmm.
Like Howie wants to say speed. That was Jannard Avery. Speed. Jannard Avery is fast as hell for his position. Just he can't see the field because he doesn't have the skill set that really warrants field time under Jim Schwartz. Jim Schwartz wants trenches that can win up front, And then, well, Jim Schwartz as a coach always needed really good linebackers. You know, he had it in Tennessee, he had it in Detroit. He had those linebackers to fill the gaps that the wide nine creates. And now he has. And
then 2017, he had linebackers and the D-line. 2017, he had everything. So, and it actually made up for the secondary's deficiencies in 2017.
You know, but 2017, now you have, that they were 15th in linebacker spending. And the last 18, 19, 20, they're like 29, 30 last. This year, they're last. So it's the proof is right there. You see, you get what you pay for anywhere in life. And right now, they're paying $3 million for all of their linebackers, and we see what's there now. It's sad. Just give me Hassan Reddick, and I'll be fine.
I got asked a lot about Avery Williamson over the past couple of days.
I like him too.
Me too.
From the Jets, yeah. He's a good player. He tore his ACL last summer. Then this year, he started really coming on the last couple of weeks. He played 95% of the snaps 2 weeks ago. He played 93% of the snaps yesterday, had 11 tackles. He's a good run defender. He's okay in coverage, but he's very smart, and he shoots the gaps quickly. And, you know, he obviously would be an upgrade over what they have right now. So why not? The Jets are pretty much selling everybody. They just got rid of Stephen McClendon hours after the game yesterday, who played major snaps for them last year.
That was so funny.
A week ago.
Players probably leave the Jets like this.
Like that.
I saw that.
Yes.
I saw that McClendon, right after he found out that he was traded, he didn't even fly back to Jersey. He took an Uber. He took an Uber from Tampa to Miami, or from Miami to Tampa. After that, and he was like, "I'm out of here. Just send my shit down."
That's amazing.
Everybody wants to be there, man. Adam Gase he does not inspire confidence. He doesn't, he doesn't excite anybody. He doesn't motivate anybody. It's just a toxic atmosphere over there, and it has been for a few seasons now. It's just everybody wants to get out of there.
He said after the game or was it today, that someone asked him about it, and he said it was the right thing to do at the time. So I'm like, well, good on him for admitting that it was the right thing to do to get him out of there as fast as possible. Like, the game was over, and they were like, okay, you're traded. So technically it was the right thing to do, because, like, why drag him out for another few days when you know he's going to be gone? So
isn't it wild that Doug Peterson's like the only coach standing from that class from the Ben McAdoo's, Hugh Jackson, I think it was?
Remember, Doug Peterson was the third choice.
Yeah, Hugh Jackson, you had Adam Gase, you had Gus Bradley.
Yeah, Gus Bradley.
Who else? And there was one more guy?
Ben McAdoo.
Yes, it was Ben McAdoo. Yes, thank you. And I wanted Gus Bradley so bad.
I wanted the Gus bus. I was on the Gus bus.
So I wanted Gus Bradley.
I was on the Gus bus. I was so big in the Gus bus. I was like, a defense. Get me a defensive mind. Get him in here. And now we see what he's doing. But
I actually photoshopped myself into the Gus bus. That's how badly I wanted him. I know, that's embarrassing.
I'm sure we have all our embarrassing takes over the years.
Doug Peterson was a terrible hire.
Yeah. Sam Bradford was the truth.
Whoa, who said that?
Liam.
Oh, he's not here right now.
I don't know. I can't really bring up any of my takes because, they're never bad. But anyways.
You said they're never bad? Just whispered it under the wind?
I didn't say that. Don't put words in my mouth. But you're right. Thank you.
No. I was just investing it.
Yeah, it's like the Giants swooped in and they were like, nope, you're not going to Philly. Come here, sign this contract. And then Jeff and Howie were like, I guess we're stuck with Doug. 2 years later, Super Bowl. And now 3 years later, dumpster.
Still standing with everybody beside him falling, even his players.
Everything is falling. But you know what doesn't need to fall?
Uh-oh.
Is your hygiene. And I'm sorry, Kiana, for talking about this, but male hygiene is very, very important around here.
This is a very important topic. So I actually 100% agree as someone who loves males. So yes.
There you go. So male hygiene, make sure, as ugly as Carson Wentz's pocket was yesterday, make sure your quarterback's pocket is not as ugly as that, please. Do not have a Jamon Brown down there, because that is as bad can be.
It's bad when a quarterback has no time to even drop back.
Right.
That's when it's bad.
There you go. So make sure your quarterback has the good treatment by going to manscaped.com using FTB. I almost said ITB. See, with that, there's too many TBs here. FTB at checkout, 20% off, free shipping. Manscaped.com. Protect your quarterback. It's your franchise. It's your only quarterback for life. Like, hopefully,
you only get one.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've read these stories where psychos go like, cheat on me, I'm gonna cut it off. But it's Manscaped.com, 20% off, free shipping. And there's great that body wash.
Oh, that body wash!
But they have body wash.
They do.
They have body wash. They have body wash. They have grooming kits for your nails. They have underwear. They have.
I might actually use that code.
There you go. They have,
I think I'll use that code.
They have nose hair trimmers. They have it all. And some of the proceeds do go to testicular cancer research.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
They do a lot of great stuff there, and it's fantastic. As we said last week, shave your balls for Ian Rappaport. Stand with Ian Rappaport. Getting suspended.
Do it for the rap sheet.
Did Ian get freed yet?
October 22nd.
Oh,
Wow,
almost. Okay.
He's still in jail.
Just advertising.
Game day mornings aren't the same without rap sheet.
Nope. All because he shaves his balls. Like, it's like Roger Goodell. Really, like, don't. No.
It's like the least incriminating thing you can promote.
I know.
It's
It's like
just
one of the.
advertising it, right? That's all it was.
Yeah, it was one of the best, and like coming from him, like, you wouldn't think Ian Rappaport's going to go on NFL Network and be like, "Hey, shave your balls," and then Roger Goodell's like, "Oh no, wait a minute, no, you're not representing the Shield like that. No,
we don't shave balls. We'll deflate them."
Well, now we know what Roger Goodell's Manscaped situation is probably like.
Yeah, he's
There you go.
He's definitely hedging up a little bit down there.
That's more like the Flakegate 2.0.
Oh Lord. Terrible.
I mean, his outfit at draft night kind of told it.
Yeah.
He is.
You want to wear grease sweatpants?
He was in his basement, whatever. Roger Goodell, whatever.
So Thursday night, guys, what are we feeling is going to happen, and how optimistic are we going forward after Thursday? Anybody?
I think you're going to see. I think you'll see some sloppy play initially, but I think the Eagles have that factor of just Carson Wentz, and I don't think that Carson's going to allow the game to kind of get as close as what you saw yesterday, and he's going to make the plays that they need. And Doug Peterson you're going to see some gadgetry, and Doug Peterson's going to be aggressive, and I think you're going to see, an Eagles team that kind of was reminiscent of that December run that they had, and they're going to be all hands on deck, and you're going to see a lot of young players step up and make some plays.
I think it'll be a close win, albeit, but I think you're going to see a D-line that's going to get after a very bad Giants offensive line. That's going to be, to me, the biggest thing, forcing Daniel Jones into mistakes, which he already does without being pressured. So that's good for the Eagles. And I do think that we're going to see a lot of Carson Wentz. And I actually think that Richard Rodgers is going to have a big game. I do. That's my bold prediction. I feel like he's going to have a big game.
Okay.
It is Dick Rod season.
Is that what? Oh wait, Richard.
Richard
I get it.
Rod.
I see.
Rod.
It took me a minute.
It's Dick Rod season.
And Kroom, man, don't forget Kroom.
Yeah. Kroom. Hey,
most efficient tight end in history.
Crewman and Dick Rod. There we go. That's our Eagle. That's our tight end situation.
So our Eagle fandom is literally us saying who once a season.
It's really it's like it's not even once a season this year. It's like almost every game. Like when Fulgham came out, his first game, people were like, "Who the hell is that?"
49ers game, I was like, "Who caught that?"
Yeah, and now Kroom last night, everybody like legit looks at like, wait, who's that guy? And he's like in the as far as the top corner of the end zone you could be without being like in the field of play. He's like, it just looked like a fan came out and was like, "Hey." He was
just hanging out there by himself. Like he could have made a sandwich while he was waiting. He was just chilling in the corner.
The Ravens just didn't care for him. They were just like, "Who's that guy?" That's definitely just a fan. Like look at him wearing his TO jersey. It's just just a fan.
A customized fan jersey on.
Yeah. Wait. Oh shit. He's on the team. But it's like the Giants aren't good. Their offensive line is the worst run blocking line in the league. Yep. I mean, the Eagles are 5 spots above them.
We're down there with them, but they're bad. Yeah.
But they're bad. Like it's their offensive line, according to Football Outsiders. Well, this is before yesterday's game. They only have Week 5 stats. So prior to yesterday's games, the line was allowing 3.07 yards a carry. Next, above that is Denver, 3.59. Eagles are at 3.85. The Giants' running backs are averaging lower than that, 3.05. And the Eagles' Miles Sanders helps that a lot, 4.23. So the Eagles are running backs are averaging more than what the line is giving them. The Giants' running backs are doing worse. So it's not good over there. The Giants are being stuffed 22% of the time. That's third worst. They're bad at the line. I know, they benched Andrew Thomas, who they spent, Dave Gettleman with his hog mollies. They spent that high pick on him for
the overall pick. Yeah,
Gettleman's a disaster.
Gettleman had his computer people help him with that pick, but if the Eagles defensive line had any game to appear. I know they've been pretty good this year with the sacks and all that, but for a dominant game, this has to be the game. Like
it's coming. It's definitely coming.
This will be the game. This will be the game.
There's absolutely no excuse for them to like. I get that the defense struggled against Pittsburgh. I get it. It's Big Ben, Chase Claypool. No one was stopping him. Absolutely no one was stopping him. I get that you had trouble against the Ravens and their rushing attack and all that, and number 47 deciding to tackle Fletcher Cox's ankles instead of Lamar Jackson, that's a bit of an issue. But if you cannot stop Daniel Jones, if you cannot stop Golden Tate, who's just catching it 6 yards away and really not doing anything of it, and then a Devontae Freeman who's not doing anything right now, Evan Ingram's not doing anything either. If you can't stop them,
well, he's the one guy that probably will Sunday. Thursday.
He's gonna balling out.
Yeah, but honestly, probably just him. But I'm not sure Daniel will have that much time to get him the ball.
Yeah, it's the defensive line needs to just live in the backfield the whole game. Like we need to set the record for most sacks in the game.
This is the game where I'd like to see Javon Hargrave really have that coming out party.
Mm-hmm.
And he hasn't had it yet. He's had
Lee
Jackson
is down too as well. So
it's another guy.
I just think Carson's going to put the team on his back, and I think that's going to happen over the next 3 games.
Yeah,
I truly believe that.
3 straight division games, 2 against the Giants. You have to go 2-0 there, definitely. And then the Cowboys, who right now Andy Dalton is 5 for 7 for 23 yards.
Zeke had a fumble again.
Yeah. Ooh, nice.
The best quarterback in the NFC East has 23 yards.
That's not okay. Okay, whose joke is that? That's so mean.
Who said it?
Who was it?
No, a lot of people. No, it was Shannon.
No, it was
Shannon said that.
I think Andrew Hawkins said that too.
No, well, Andrew Hawkins.
I would expect that from Max Kellerman.
He retweeted it. Hawkins retweeted it because someone said, "Is Andy Dalton the best quarterback in the NFC East?" And he retweeted it saying, "Absolutely."
Oh, they're going to learn. They're going to learn.
Hawk's saying that because he played with Andy in
there. Yeah, that's what I said. Like, I
you know what? You know what? You're right, Andrew.
Yeah, the first 3 years was in Cincinnati with Dalton, and then he went to Cleveland. Like, you go to Cleveland, and how many quarterbacks did you play with in Cleveland? And you're gonna have a really opinion on this quarterback situation right now. Come on.
Dalton doesn't have Dak's athleticism to survive that shaky Cowboys O-line. No. That's the reality. No. He doesn't have that, so we'll see.
It was Dolph Kleeman.
And Shannon also mentioned on Undisputed, saying that Andy Dalton is the best QB in the NFC East right now.
Come on, Shannon.
Oh, in a month he's gonna be. We're gonna be laughing at him. Don't worry.
Don't go.
I'm looking forward to it.
Don't go Skip it. No, never go full Skip Bayless.
Something I want to pick on Kiana's mind about, because I did see it. The Miles Sanders. The whole Miles Sanders is bad. I'm all Sanders. You can ask Chris. Like, I'm on that bandwagon since the beginning. But the whole theory that everybody's saying that Miles Sanders is bad, I know you had a strong opinion on it. So I kind of want to pick your brain on it. I need you to defend the brand right now.
Oh, the Tyrone Johnson comment.
Yeah, I'm. Well, so what is your main question? Just how I feel about Sanders or that situation?
Well, how do you feel about Sanders in the season so far? Because a lot of people are saying Miles Sanders is bad, but you've completely stated multiple times on the podcast so far that the offensive line has been terrible.
Yeah, I mean, Chris just threw stats at us. I mean, they're bottom 6 in the league in run blocking. They're that bad. There's no space. There's no holes. Like you see Boston Scott and Miles Sanders literally run into either Eagles offensive linemen or they run straight into the other team's defenders. There's nowhere to go. They're getting hit in the backfield. There's nothing there. And the few times that Miles has gotten the ball, he has broken off for big carries. And even without those, he's, like I said, 5.1 yards per carry behind a bad run blocking O-line. How can you nitpick that? 5 yards every down, that's what you want your running back to get for the most part.
Which is the highest in the league among running backs with 40 or more attempts.
And still on pace to go over 1,000 yards.
Well, maybe not anymore.
I still don't get how people.
Not anymore with the way he's out 2 weeks, so probably not anymore. But yards from scrimmage, he'll still do well overall when he gets back.
Yeah, 100%. But it's like with Football Outsiders, they have him at 19th in DYAR, which is their running back DVOA. Yeah. But he has the fourth most, right? Fourth most. No, after yesterday, he had the fourth most rushing yards in the league with having the 16th most attempts.
Crazy. And as much as I love Doug, how many times have we seen Miles make a big play only to not be seen for like the next 4 drives?
Just disappears.
Yeah. It's routine.
He went from before yesterday. I think I did it a few days ago before the game. He had the most, maybe first or second attempts in the first half. And then in the second half, he's like 17th or 18th in the league. He just gets completely forgotten about. And people were responding, well, when you're down this much, you can't really do it. I get that, but Miles Sanders is that good that you could still kind of put him in the game plan to try and come back in the league. We saw 2 straight weeks of 70-yard runs from Miles Sanders. Like that, he can break away. Like you're down 2 scores. Miles Sanders breaks away a touchdown run. Okay, there you go, 1 score. Don't completely abandon him because you're down a couple scores. It's ridiculous. And then you're gonna abandon him in short yardage situations for 5-6 Boston Scott. Like I just don't get this running back.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't get what Deuce is doing with the running back rotation.
And then people are judging Miles off of. I mean, 11 carries is a tiny sample size. Someone of Miles' caliber should probably touch the ball, give or take. Most games, if you're not facing an elite rushing defense, you would probably say at minimum someone of his caliber at least 20 times on a good day. On a good day, at least 20. 11. Was what he got in the game before what he was as what I believe he got in the Pittsburgh game was 11 or 12.
Yeah, 11, and then yesterday was 9 before he got hurt.
Before he got hurt.
On offense, such devoid of talent, like to only give your best player 11 touches is just unacceptable.
And that's what he is right now. Like I know Carson's balling out. But Miles Sanders is the Eagles' best offensive player.
Like, he's not just a running back. He can. I mean, that drop was bad. Okay. But other than that, he can catch the ball. We've seen it. So he's not just a running back. He's a dual threat. They're not utilizing this man to his true potential.
And they're really not.
Yeah. Before the season starts, Miles Sanders is the guy. Miles Sanders is the guy. But they aren't like. There's no running back by committee anymore.
Ooh, Zach Martin's walking off for Dallas.
Well, they can catch a break. Huh? Well, I mean, Dallas fans know how we feel. How many years before this?
It's unfortunate, name of the game.
They say that we can't have excuses and all that, but it happens. It sucks.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
It happens, and it's just crazy how frequent it's happening, but. You know, it is what it is. Next man up. And
no preseason. It's the preseason is killing the league. And I was one of those fans that said, "Cut it down." I will never say that again. After what we're seeing.
Preseason, definitely. 100%. Especially for those last preseason games that you could go for like $6. And it's just, you could just go hang out. Like Brian and I went.
Those were cool. I used to go there and just hang out with my dad at those.
Yeah, we went to, Brian and I went to the Eagles-Jets one last year.
Alex Singleton.
It was the Alex Singleton game. Like he had like 10, 11 tackles. And I'm screaming my lungs out for him. My wife's like, who the hell is that guy? And I'm like, Alex Singleton. He's really good. And then, and I'm banging the table.
I'm such a football nerd. Like I live for like the fourth preseason game. So I'm like, doing my roster projection. I'm like, this guy is going to make it. You know, I'm doing that in my head, and it's good.
I'm
to see
glad
young
it's not
players
just
play.
me.
I get excited about that.
Everyone's like, you want to watch that
Scrubs?
Scrubs? I'm like, the battles are so fun though.
Yeah, you know who's gonna those are the games that players of number 47's caliber play in to see if they make the team. But
somehow, some way, number 47 still makes it on the roster
and plays 99% of the snaps.
Yeah, that's even worse.
He played 100% against Pittsburgh. I was so upset. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it doesn't matter that Chase Claypool was dragging him around like a rag doll. Like, it's just no, keep going out there, Gary. Go ahead.
But my thing is this: like, okay, Gary was. I mean, he wasn't good, but he was a safety in college. So as a safety, you develop coverage skills. Where was it?
I mean,
did he leave it back in college?
Yeah, but as a safety, maybe with him, you have coverage skills, but you really don't have to like react as much, like playing deep like that. Like as a linebacker, you got to see like where everything is, and but he can't
have
like,
some kind of
you motion an inch, and he's like, oh shit, like where the hell is this guy going? Like
he takes such poor angles. To ball carriers, and he has the worst eye discipline I've ever seen. He always gets caught looking in the backfield and always out of position. He's slow reacting to the full ball. He's just everything in his skill set, in his wheelhouse is just not. I mean, he's not a starter. He's a fourth linebacker in the NFL.
I think that's still being pretty generous.
And that's what they really drafted him to be. They drafted him to be a special teamer and a fourth linebacker, and now they're trotting him out there for 99% of the snaps, which is, that falls on Howard. You keep throwing this guy out there because you don't have any better options. That's a problem.
And
can't disagree with that at all.
And going back quick to Miles Sanders and his attempts, because my computer's slow right now, so it just loaded now, so I'm going to go back to it.
Wait.
So under
loading that whole time? No, we have to
talk about it's my work computer, man. I got everything on there. Is
it sponsored by Gary?
I got
well played.
But so Doug Peterson, under Doug Peterson's era, so 4 years, 4.5 years, only 19 times have a running back gotten more than 15 carries. And Sanders has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Jordan Howard has the most with 23 last year. Who is wasting away
I miss Jordan Howard.
Dolphins inactive list right now. So
healthy scratch 2 weeks in a row, by the way.
Miami.
I feel like running backs go to Miami to die.
I think that's everything in general for the most part.
The senior citizens go down there, right? They go to Miami to
Oh, that's actually true.
I mean, to retire and see what happens later in life. But Jordan Howard, he was Mr. Vulture earlier in the year, and now he's just they're not playing him. He went down there for the money. He's living good in Miami, and we could use him.
It sounds funny, but I almost wonder if Frank Gore, the Jets are having a fire sale. Frank Gore is the best pass blocking running back in football.
I love Frank Gore.
He was an Eagle once for like 5 seconds. But,
good times.
Bring him home. Bring Frank Gore home.
Why not? He doesn't deserve to be in that in that situation with the Jets. Just bring him to Philly, free him. I believe he is 37 years old, but he's still running relatively well. I believe he has 4 yards a carry.
That does play into Howie's young comment. So bringing in a 37-year-old shouldn't.
It does. And one thing to say about Gore is, for the most part, Gore has been very durable. Even the way actually, I might have just did something bad.
Don't bring him here then, because he's going to tear his ACL.
I forgot there's like someone holding up a crucifix or whatever.
Actually
when it comes to Philly, and I don't know.
Someone somewhere has a swoop voodoo doll.
Like one of the sports gods who let us win Super Bowl 52. He has a voodoo doll, and he's been playing with it since 2017.
It's probably Tom Brady.
And
he doesn't want to shake Nick Foles' hand. He's cursed the Eagles. It's
probably is Tom.
Probably Tom. he plays with the doll in between kissing his son.
And that went there. So yeah,
it's true. He's
looking good for us right now. I'll tell you that. on Monday Night Football here.
What's the
14
score?
nothing. Yeah,
14-0.
Is that Kenyon Drake with a touchdown?
Zeke has 2 fumbles.
What?
Damn.
Wow.
I started Kenyon Drake.
Zeke has completely fallen off the face
Yeah,
of the
what
earth.
is going on with
He
Zeke?
really has.
He's turning the ball
don't
over
know.
left and right.
Ever since
Yeah,
that
he
party.
does not look like himself. Yeah, I don't know if it's overusage or he's just breaking down or what. But I mean, that running back shelf life is a real thing.
There was a great stat I saw a couple of years ago about the shelf life of running backs, and it says something about them falling, that their numbers taking a significant drop after age. Was it 27 or 28?
That's wild.
I would say
Bell,
28.
Le'Veon Bell is a great example of that.
Yeah.
I would say.
And he's not even there yet, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depending
Well, being on the Jets certainly doesn't help.
I would say depending on when you come into the league, I'd say probably 27. Like,
Well, Dallas overused Zeke in his first couple of years.
They really overused
You
him.
remember
That was
2016 where it was nothing but Zeke running for the most part, and they
Yeah.
kept their defense fresh? It's definitely that.
I think he's starting to break down at an early age because that he was like their offense went through him.
So I'm always nervous about giving running backs big money.
Yeah. And John Barchard did say in our podcast many weeks ago that he said we should take advantage of Miles Sanders now because he's not going to be an Eagle in a couple of years.
I don't know if I go that far yet. Yet.
Trying to rip apart my heart. But yeah. Tavor, lots of rain.
Tavor, lots of rain. Tavor, the T's, our T sponsors. Lots of ore. Just to show everybody, lots of ore. Whatever. It's 9:15, man. Tavor.com is our craft beer sponsor. I am drinking Gunner's Daughter Milk Stout, which is a beautifully aromatic milk stout with bold flavors of peanut butter, coffee, and dark chocolate. This app, you put in FTB10, you get $10 towards your purchase, your next purchase after you spend $25 or more. Craft beer is very expensive. You could probably buy one beer for $25, but usually a 4-pack usually runs around that. Then you get $10 off. Craft beer is amazing. It really is, and it gets you drunk faster because the ABV is higher. So you drink one at the beginning of an Eagles game, and then you're feeling good when you're just screaming at the TV that someone broke number 47's ankles again. And then to see what time it is at that point, you can just look at your wrist and go to look at a watch from LaTourine.com. La-Tourine.com. FTB10. Same code as Tavor. Get yourself a nice watch for 10% off. Is that good for you, Brian?
I'm not gonna lie. I love the way you do the advertisements. That's why I let you
That was
do it.
good.
It's phenomenal.
That was well done.
They need to they have a calling. Got a calling.
It's because I talk so much all day with my students. It's just,
that was well done, man.
Thank you. I appreciate
Didn't even
it.
break a sweat, man.
No.
Look at that.
Did you say chocolate? Did you say peanut butter and coffee and
chocolate?
That got my attention.
Geez.
I love those three things.
I hate peanut butter. Absolutely.
I can't follow you anymore on Twitter.
Absolutely.
Oh,
wow.
I'm kidding.
We could dedicate
That's
an hour.
big.
We could dedicate an hour to that right there.
Yeah, I'm happy I said that now because we're an hour and 15 minutes in. So
You have a
now,
point.
Now, if you guys want to leave, that's fine. We're in the podcast right now. But like peanut butter beer, I absolutely love peanut butter beer. I absolutely love it.
I didn't even know that existed until today, so I learned something.
Like I'm weird with it. I hate pickles, but I love the pickled things and relish. Like I love that.
You love pickled things?
Like pickled onions, pickled jalapenos, I love those things. But pickled.
Man, you're just full of Snapple Cap facts today.
I am. Yes. Yes, I am. That's my Twitter thing. Like I look up obscure facts and I just like the last time Carson Wentz played in a game that was 68 degrees and the wind was blowing northeast.
Damn.
I get bored sometimes. Whatever. Leave me alone.
Well, guys, before we end the podcast, what's your bold prediction for the rest of the season for the Eagles?
I'm going to say that Travis Fulgham reaches the 1,000-yard receiving barrier. He breaks the 1,000-yard receiving barrier.
That's nice. That's pretty bold.
He's on his way. I think he's projected.
Yeah,
his season-long projection is 1,200.
Yeah, I think we'll get just over 1,000.
First one since Macklin.
Yep.
That'd be nice.
Jordan
That'd
Matthews
be
came
really
close.
nice.
An ESP special. Jordan Matthews.
Oh Lord.
Jordan Matthews.
What about you, Key?
I think we will see the first 6-9-1 playoff team.
Nice.
And it will be the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think that it'll be I think we'll get into the playoffs, and I think that Carson will finally earn people's respect on the playoff stage. But that's what I'm feeling. I think they do very well in the division. That's enough to carry them. And I think they grab one against either the Saints or Cardinals. And that's it.
I mean, would it be bad if we really? I mean, is it really just playoffs or nothing? Like, do we care about the record at this point?
I don't. I'll be like,
Right.
I don't. I mean, like people talk about draft position, draft picks. Bottom line, if we had a great scouting department, we wouldn't have to worry about where we were drafting first and
Right.
foremost. But it's all about just getting there, because we've seen anything happen. If they get in a 6-9-1 and Carson wins a playoff game, who's going to be able to say anything bad about him after that?
Especially with that
Right.
supporting cast around.
Nothing. No one. Yeah. So I want this for him. It's year 5. I want this for him.
Yeah, just to go back to her point, like
Yeah.
we talk about first round picks. The last first round pick to pan out is Carson Wentz. Like, I know Rager's hurt and he's going to be on his way to being the next one, but last year's Dillard.
Mm-hmm.
Year before that, we didn't have one. 2017 was Derek Barnett, who's okay.
To be
And
to be
Wentz.
determined. Yeah.
Then
Yeah,
Wentz.
that's still to be
Before that
determined.
was Aguilar. Yeah, who was the last one? Lane Johnson? Fletcher Cox? I think
Lane
Cox.
Johnson, Fletch. Yeah.
So it's like, how many years of a decade? 3? Are we going to be like, yeah, these first round picks really panned out? So for us to be like, just lose out or
Yeah,
not pick, so what? So they can pick a high motor edge rusher who has great character and who had great production in the Pac-12. It's or in the MAC. It's like that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. A try hard guy.
Yeah, like
Try hard.
the production
guy.
really wasn't there, but he's a really high motor guy.
I've heard the word. I've heard the phrase "high motor" in every Eagles draft. As long for the 20-something years I've watched football, and I'm tired of hearing it.
He's a lunch pail guy. He's a fastball.
Like he's a blue collar worker. He's really gonna bring it. Like, okay, great. Just
His dad was a coach. He comes from a coaching background.
his brother was an NFL player, Casey Matthews. But it's like,
oh no,
it's at what point do we finally say, yeah, they got a slam dunk first round pick? In one part of me, yes, I want them to fail just so we can overhaul everything and finally get like stability in this front
But do
office.
you trust Howie to do that?
No. And that's why I go to the other side. Like, yeah, let's be the first team since the early 2000 Eagles to repeat as champions. I don't care what the record is. Win the division, and Wentz will surprise everybody and win a division, win a playoff game, and everybody can shut the hell up already. But they won't. But then after he wins the first game, they're like, well, he couldn't win 2 games. It's just going to keep going. And once he wins the Super Bowl, he can't win 2 Super Bowls. It's gonna just keep happening his whole career. He's gonna end up being the second highest touchdown passer in NFL history. Oh, you couldn't be first. There's always gonna be that for Carson for whatever reason. And it's sad because he's such a great guy, and he does everything with nothing, and it's really
he's always slighted, man. He's always slighted.
But
That's when he thrives the best.
is it my turn for predictions?
It's been your turn. It was the whole speech you gave was your turn.
Oh, is that my time? Is that my minutes? I think, we don't have many picks next year. I think we still have 7 picks, but 2 of them are in the 5th round. You don't have a 4th round pick. After comp picks, I don't remember how much they're going to have, but I think Howie does. I think the Eagles win Thursday, which gives them 10 days into the Cowboys game. Which the Cowboys game is 2 days before the trade deadline. But I think in those 10 days, Howard makes a move for someone for like a 2nd or 3rd round pick next year. I think he's just going to get someone, and that is in the last year of their deal, but is a really good player, and then he's going to leave next year for a comp pick. Like he's going to play for this year, like his magic quote, we always want to be competitive this year, the current year, but we're also thinking to the future. So there's his competitive. Like he's going to find someone for Wentz this year that last year their deal, then they're going to go sign a lucrative deal somewhere else, and then how he's going to get his 2022 comp pick, and he's happy. Maybe we're not happy, but he's happy, and that's really all that matters. Because I'm telling you, everybody that talks to me about him, Howie just wants to be the smartest guy in the room. That's his thing. He always wants to be the smartest guy in the room. He's gonna get someone that's gonna help this Eagles team be successful this year. Go to the playoffs. So you're saying
we're gonna get a kicker?
Yes.
Okay.
We need one. We need one. So Cody Parkey's coming back.
Woo!
But yeah, I like he's a dealer. That's what he's gonna do. He's gonna get someone. We would hope it's a linebacker. We would hope it's a trade that involves Deshaun Jackson.
It'd be nice if it was a running back and a linebacker.
That'd be nice.
Maybe he trades for a whole new offensive line. Well, but I just think he's gonna make something like the Javon Hargrave move. And I know I'm going off on a fucking tangent, but Javon Hargrave, no one saw that coming because defensive tackle was not a need. That was the last thing on everybody's mind. And he went out and got Javon Hargrave. It was a splash. Great. 3 years, $30-something million. Great. And what has he done so far? But so he's going to get someone a splash move, and then it's going to be like a Golden Tate thing maybe.
Move on. Yeah.
We'll see.
Okay. Sounds good. So, guys, even though you guys both have your platform and everybody knows you.
Whoa, time out. What the hell was your thing? You didn't say yours.
You want my bold prediction?
You're going to ask us some questions. You're not going to give us yours?
You're a little,
he has a point.
Spicy today.
Yeah, I want to hear what you have to say.
Is it that bad that you can't say it?
No, it's not that bad. But I personally believe the Eagles actually finished with a winning record opposed to a 6-9. You see? So hear me out. We take the next 4. We take the Giants, you take the Cowboys, you take the Browns, you take the Giants again. You're facing Seattle, Green Bay.
Giants come before Browns.
Doesn't matter. Seattle, Green Bay, and New Orleans. Seattle's due a loss against us.
And their defense is terrible.
Yes. Green Bay, I'll take the L on Green Bay. New Orleans is due a loss against us. I'll take 2 out of 3 on that trip. And then the rest, give or take, I personally believe we end up with a winning record. And I'm pissing you off, and I feel it.
8-7-1?
I'll go for it.
Russell Wilson's going to destroy number 47. Like, he's not even this. He probably won't even need to pass.
But that might be a shootout game if you actually think about it. We have Rager back.
No, they're not. We're gonna have Rager. They're not stopping us either in that game.
Yeah, it's gonna be a shootout game. But it might get to a point where, okay, Seattle has the ball, 2 minutes left.
No, if they get to that point, then we lost. I think they end up with a winning record.
Okay.
Wild as it can be, I personally don't think.
From now until the end of the season, they go 7-2.
Anything's possible. No, like he said earlier, there is no dominant team in the NFL right now.
There isn't. And we saw Nick Foles win a Super Bowl when we thought things were bad. We can't even put anything out of the realm of possibility of happening. Mm-hmm. This team, whenever they're kicked in the mouth and we think it's over, it's not over. So we'll see.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So, like I was saying before, even though you guys have your platform, our listeners were, very excited when we mentioned you guys were coming on. Can you tell our listeners where to find you guys, just in case you have new listeners, whatever case may be?
Ladies first.
Oh, thank you, Andrew. You're so nice.
I thought you said about Chris.
Oh man.
Hey, you guys want to do a podcast? I need a new co-host.
I'm RealMamaEagle on Twitter and on Twitch. I'm actually a Twitch streamer 5 days a week on that platform. So same on everything, same on Instagram as well. But I do sports chat, and I also do video game streams.
Nice. You're busy. Hey, you're busy.
I am extremely busy.
You can find me on Twitter at DiCecco NFL, DiCecco. You can find my work on InsideTheBirds.com, and you can hear me on 97.3 ESPN South Jersey every Monday and Tuesday at 4 o'clock.
Nice. What are you, Chris?
Today. Infante 54. Infant with the E at the end, 54.
And I'm Brian Cameron. Thank you for tuning in to Flippin' the Birds this week. Make sure you guys subscribe to PSN Radio or Philly Sports Network's YouTube channel to catch more Flippin' the Birds. Until next week.
Go Birds.
Yes, sir.